Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. Today my article topic is Influence Situational English Teaching Method on Senior High School Students' English Speaking Learning Efficiency. So firstly, my supervisor is Dr. Sanita. And at the very beginning, I would like to introduce my abstract. The objective of the studies was to explore the influence of the situational English teaching method on senior high school students' English speaking. The study was conducted using the questionnaires and Yinhua Senior High School in China. A total of the 60 senior high school students participated in the study actively. The students answered questionnaires after attending the English classes where the situational English teaching method was being implemented. The data was analyzed using SPSS version 27 to measure the levels of effectiveness learning English speaking. Descriptive statistics show that the situational English teaching method have a positive impact on English learning, and based on the finding of the study, which is contribute to the improvement of the student abilities, use of spoken English, and to the qualities of the English teaching in secondary school. A survey on the use of contextual teaching in secondary school English teaching will help to better understanding current situation of the implementation of this teaching method. Firstly, like all the students to understand the English contextual teaching to senior high school English classrooms and examine the effectiveness and efficiency of the contextual teaching. To sum up, learning spoken English is not only important meaning of the acquired knowledge, but also gaining experience. And it is the important meaning of the developing critical and development thinking. Therefore, students of our English teaching should meet the general requirements, learning in meaningful, authentic, and situational context. This is an urgent need to further investigate contextual approaches to teaching English as a foreign language, namely situational teaching method. According to Ron, based on the theory of contextual cognitive learning, teachers should follow four major principles when creating English teaching context. The situational created vivid and concrete with a certain emotional color. It will cause, through students' emotional experience, students to understand the materials and promote the overall harmonious and development of a situational mental function. So one of the theoretical foundations of the contextual teaching method is psychological. The language acquisition theory. Language acquisition theory is the learning and development of the person's language. Language acquisition theory is a combination of Chomsky's language acquisitions apparatus and Christian's secondary apparatus hypothesis. Language acquisition is the learning and development of a person's language. Language acquisition theory is a combination of Chomsky's language acquisition apparatus and Christian's secondary acquisitions hypothesis. On one hand, the critical argues there is an inherited language acquisition device in the human brain, and therefore they have the ability to acquire language naturally. On the other hand, constructive learning theory, constructivisms hold that it's not only for teachers to talk and instruct, but for the classroom in order to students to acquire knowledge. Instead, learners are builders, are creators of the meaning and the knowledge, and then they require knowledge by introducing critical models into hands-on teaching and learning activities. New language points and grammar items are taught and practiced in specific contexts. Vocabulary selection shouldn't follow the rules of the basic and useful vocabulary. Grammar shouldn't be taught from the simple forms to complex forms. Reading and writing can be introduced out of vocabulary and grammar are built. From November to May, the situational English teaching method is used in experiment classes. Throughout the experiment, the students were not told in advance they were participating in an experiment. They could determine the validated experiment. And questionnaire SPSS 27 analysis was used to the study. Therefore, the results of the analysis will be presented below. Independent sample t-test. The aim of the studies was compare the difference between in participation scores between the pre-test and the post-test. Data were collected from the two samples, pre-test score and the post-test score. Actually, we use the test to compare the difference between the pre-test and post-test score. Based on the calculated result, we find the t-value with a p-value less than 0.001 and indicating a significant difference between the pre-test and post-test score. The result provides strong evidence to support our research hypothesis. As for finding the results, by interpreting the descriptive data from questionnaire, when English class with SETM, students can have better learning effectiveness and class activities participation. In the meantime, when the learning class with SETM, students also have a very excellent performance and take on moderate learning satisfaction. Actually, the influence of the situational English method on the learning effect of high school or English courses, and the influence of situational English teaching method hold on the senior high school students' engagement and immersion in English speaking courses. The influence of situational English teaching method on high school students' marching degree in English speaking courses. The influence situational English teaching method on senior high school students' outcomes in English speaking courses. To sum up, the research has reviewed the impact of the situational English teaching method application effectiveness in the speaking courses in senior high school. The situational English teaching method has a highly positive to spoken English for senior high school students at Tianjin Yinghua Senior High School. As a result, English teachers need to design English speaking license, that take into account students' engagement, immersion, or learning fit or outcomes in the context of the situated English teaching approaches, in order to make the approach more effective and in more efficiency valid, and thus improve the students' English speaking skills. Thank you for listening. Terima kasih banyak-banyak.